In 1900, the population of the United States was 76 million people in 45 states. About 13% of the population nationwide was foreign-born, but as you can see from this map, the distribution was very uneven. In some major cities of the United States, the population of foreign-born was half the population, or even higher, closer to 75%. By 1900, it was apparent to many people that there were some horrors of unregulated capitalism that needed to be addressed. Those included child labor, gigantic inequities in wealth, dangerous work, cheap wages, lack of protection for workers, environmental degradation, racial prejudice against Indians, Blacks, Chinese, Hispanic, and other ethnic minorities. Fully half of the adult population was excluded entirely from eligibility to vote because they were women. Women could only vote in a few states, primarily in the West, in 1900. There was extensive corruption, influence of big business and corporate leaders on government and economic policy. So many people noticed these conditions and were concerned about them. And it's worthwhile thinking about whose interests were served by those circumstances and whose interests might have been served in trying to keep them that way, and whose interests were served in changing them for the better. So how might things change? In this chapter, we look at what's sometimes called the Progressive Era with a capital P. And we want to look at the motivations for people who were interested in reforming the American system and making it more equitable, more just, and more responsive to the changing diversity of the American people. So some of the motivations behind progressives were humanitarian, some were ethical, some were religious, some were economic, some were avowedly anti-capitalist, some grew out of racial pride or ethnic or class solidarity. The progressives were not a party. There was no single political party. They were not a unified coalition. There was no single leader of American progressivism. It has many leaders, many directions, and they're not all in agreement with each other. It's an era in which we can see a lively debate about the present and future of the country and how to solve the problems that were apparent at the time. Reading Chapter 20 meets the Unit 2 objective to define progressivism and identify examples in early 20th century politics and culture. I've included a notes guide for you. It's a Word document that you can download and fill out, and it encourages you to pull out terms that you see are important in this chapter. The notes guide is optional. It's just a way for you to structure your own homework, your own study and reading time, but I hope you'll find it to be a useful resource to give a framework for understanding this chapter and to learning from it better than you may have from the earlier chapters. Some things to watch for in Chapter 20. Watch for people, watch for organizations, watch for strategies that those organizations take, and watch for results or lack of results. So, on to the Progressive Era, Chapter 20.